And then hello, welcome back. So today we're going to continue with looking at oxidation and reduction reactions and looking at building a table if given some information. So this is the Alberta's curriculum data booklet. You get this for Chem 20 and Chem 30. And if you turn to page 7, this is a page we're going to be concentrating on, and we want to build a table that looks like this. If we can build a table that looks like this, then your strongest oxidizing agent is your top left, and they get weaker as they go down. Your strongest reducing agent is on the bottom right, and they get weaker as you go up. So that is our goal, to build something that looks exactly like this. So I have an old quiz here that I have set up that I would like to go through. And we'll just do these questions together. So the goal is to get this to look like page 7. So what we want to do is look at this information that we're given and determine, eventually we're going to arrange from strongest OA to the weakest OA. So what we want to do is make this table look like page 7. So I'm going to start with what's going on within the reaction. A2 is turning into a negative, so no charge to a negative charge. So that is gaining electrons, so that we would say is reduction, and that would make A2 an OA. B negative is going from a negative to a 0, so that is losing electrons. So that would be oil, making, that's an I, making B negative an RA. Now, we talked about this the other day, but if your OA is above your RA, it is a spontaneous reaction. So here, if you see products, we know it's spontaneous. So when you go to build your table, and I'll just build it over here as I work on steadying my hand, your OAs are on the left, your RAs are on the right. And so far, I know my OA, A2, is above my RA, which is B negative. So that is the first one I'm going to take a look at. Now I could fill in the rest if I wanted to here. I could add in electrons, so plus 2 electrons gives you 2A negative, but really the placement of the A as a aqueous non-charged, I don't want to say compound molecule, has to be on the left, and the ion needs to be on the right. And then the B negative needs to be below it. So now if I look at my next reaction, I don't see exactly what's happening. I see that it says no reaction, so that means it's non-spontaneous. So your RA, once we determine it, has to be higher on the table than your OA. So B negative, because it has a charge, it would want to lose electrons. So we have to kind of predict what's happening without seeing the reactant or the products. So if you want to lose electrons, you're undergoing oxidation, and you would be an RA, which would make the C2 an OA. So when we go to place it, because there is no reaction, your RA that we already see on the table has to be higher up than your OA. So we can put C2 below. We can also fill in a little bit more information here, just based on what we see within the reactions, and predict a little bit here. So we have that placed so far. Now this very last one, again, we have products, so that means it's spontaneous. So your OA is above your RA. And when you go to figure out your OAs and RAs, it's the same process. The negative becomes neutral, so you want to lose electrons, so that's oxidation. Oxidation involves loss, making that an RA. Your D2 has no charge, and it's going to a negative. That had to gain electrons. So reduction involves gain. That would be Rig again. So this is an OA. So here, because you have a reaction, your OA is higher than your RA. So we want to put D2 higher up on the table. So when I teach this in class, I usually tell my students to start about halfway down when you're placing, because as you're adding in, you don't know if you'll need to put more above or below. So if you start about halfway, then we can place it, then we can place it that way. I'm not sure what happened here, but it got twisted. So now in order from strongest oxidizing agent to weakest, you would read the table from top left, so strongest OA, and then you go down to your weakest OA. So when we're looking at it, your strongest would be D, and then your next one would be A, and then B, and then C. So I'm just following this, so D was first, then A, then B, then C. With these diploma questions, do be careful because it's not always going to be asked from strongest to weakest. It could be from weakest to strongest, or instead of the oxidizing agent, it could be asking you about the reducing agent. I hope you find that helpful. I will do one more example in the next video with this next question down here, just because it's, I think, helpful to see more than one when you're building tables. Thank you for following this one. I hope you will like and subscribe.